This is TWiT.
I've gone through what I think of as the 7 stages of guilt when it comes to AI. It is, it isn't, it's great, it's crazy, but whatever. Richard very calmly, rationally was like, nope, this is the year 2023 where Microsoft is going to announce things, and then 2024 is going to be when they implement them, right? And by the time I hit the end of the year, I was on board with that. Yep, he was right all along. And we didn't realize how right he was, because less than 2 weeks into the year, they implemented everything. I thought last year was crazy. What the what? Like, if you had said to me, this is how 2024 is going to go down. They're going to slowly expand Copilot for Microsoft 365 to bigger businesses and maybe lower the 300 license,
smaller businesses go. Yeah, they got all the big ones.
They'll move that, right?
Yeah.
They had said we're going to bring this to consumers, so maybe sometime by mid-year, second half of the year, we'll have a third tier of consumer Microsoft 365, which is a little more expensive. We'll have the AI stuff maybe. We're going to eventually allow. I mean, look, there was no version of 2024 where they were going to let people, like individuals, build GPTs of their own. I don't even know why anyone would want to do that as a normal mainstream human being. They did all of everything I said and more 3 days ago. Like it's out. Well, the GPT builder is coming, but they announced it. I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. And well, I do. I have one thing to say about this, but Copilot Pro is the consumer product. Copilot Pro is basically Copilot for Microsoft 365, but for consumers, right? It adds the AI features that are in all the Office apps. It gives you some consumer-oriented things like the whatever they're calling the image creator thing today. You get extra credits and extra quality and peak time usage and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to get this Copilot GPT builder, so you can build your own little personal GPT. And this is the kind of thing Richard is actually doing right now. I think Leo is too.
I've been with OpenAI's ChatGPT, but it's the same, right?
Yep. So, and I've been thinking about how would I do this for myself. I have 30 years of archives. And
perfect. Make a Paul Thurrott expert system. You'll never have to write another article.
Well, not write another article, but rather one of the weird problems I have because of how much I write is that I can't.
Oh, did I write this before? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, did I do this or what did I say about this or what? And finding this stuff is actually very difficult. So. That would, be useful to me personally. I can't imagine anyone else would need this thing. But
imagine
anyway,
if MSDN and TechNet could have been put into expert system, right?
Sure.
I don't know why they haven't done that, frankly.
Maybe that is what Microsoft Learn becomes, right? We'll see. So they just announced a flurry of things. I'm sorry, I mentioned Copilot Pro for consumers, right? Which is the consumer version of Copilot.
It's the same price as ChatGPT. So
$20 per user per month.
That's what I pay right now.
You have to have a Microsoft 365 subscription. You can't,
but I have that
as a consumer, and you have to. I'm sorry, I should say it has to be personal or family, because remember, there's the base one now.
Yeah.
And then so you pay whatever you pay for that.
I wonder if that would be better or worse, or like it's the same.
You know what? Let's talk about that in 1 second. But let me just get through this list, because I do want to talk about that. I think that's an important point. If you have a Microsoft 365 business account, you might do that as your own. Like you have a custom domain. You're like, I have the basic thing. You can't do Copilot Pro. You have
That's
to.
So weird. You have to do the $30 business one.
Yep. So they have the $30 business one. That's available basically to all businesses. They've removed the exceptions. They've removed the baseline number of licenses, et cetera.
No more 300.
Yeah. So basically everyone on business can now get that. Copilot
it is $10 a month more, which is weird.
It is, right. But we're going to, but I want to get to that. Copilot on mobile means there's an iOS and an Android native app for Copilot, which they released and never discussed back in December. This is why. And then Copilot is appearing also in the Microsoft 365 mobile app, which remembers the all up. It's kind of like OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote, I think, all in one app or whatever. It's going to be in there as well, if it isn't already. And then I think the most confusing thing, honestly, when I think about mainstream users and Copilot and AI, I got to say the terminology is maybe the biggest hurdle. So this notion that they're going to give individuals like a Copilot GPT builder, I'm pretty sure this is the first time Microsoft has used GPT as the name of anything in their little ecosystem. I think people associate that with OpenAI and Chat GPT, but it's okay. Copilot GPT builder. In other words, you're going to build your own Copilot, essentially, right? Okay, cool. All right. So why is the business version of Copilot $10 more per month? It's because of the Microsoft Graph, right? The missing piece for Microsoft on the consumer side right now, it's why Copilot in Windows 11 is so lame is that they don't have that thing on the back end that ties together all those disparate data sources that exist in an organization. What they're trying to do is leech in all of your email through Outlook, leech in all of your personal data through OneDrive, leech in all of your activity online through Edge, and then use that as sort of a mini Microsoft graph. But the reality is, it's not there, right? So I think that's why. It's also the difference between what I would call like a commercially backed, licensed, supported service versus we're going to let you make cute pictures with, Bing on, or whatever they're calling it, Copilot now. It's consumery, right? I think $20 per month. Look, when you're paying as an individual $69 a year for 12 months of this service, and you have to pay an additional $20, not for the year, but every single month, I think you've just eliminated 99% of the people out there who are like, wait, what? That's incommensurate with the cost of the thing.
And arguably a lot of the value isn't there because you don't have this big graph data set that the companies are taking advantage of.
Yep. So
that might also be intentional. Like I feel like they've rushed this out just to see what would happen.
So I think you're right. And I think by making it prohibitively expensive or restrictive, which is what they did in November, and now it's just expensive, they're cutting down on the number of people who are going to try it and then come out and say, this is garbage. Because one of the big problems for Microsoft is in their rush to AI and now their rush to implement it, what happens if they poison it? What if so many people say this is garbage that they never come back?
Right.
This is
so
a real
it's worth
danger.
A slow rollout. I mean, I would point out that the $20 a month is what you pay for Chat GPT Plus. So it's like, this is the alternative offering.
Yeah. But what do you pay for Copilot, GitHub Copilot?
10.
Right. See, to me, that's a very targeted offering with a very clear value proposition.
And it is expected to go up. Right.
And you can't make a GPT with it.
But at $10 to me,
it's code focused.
That's commensurate with the value that you get. In fact, if anything, it's almost a no-brainer. I will argue that almost any developer should probably have this, right? I mean,
I mean, without a doubt. And one would argue it should be 20 and the consumer version should be 10.
There you go.
But the market currently says $20.
But even at 10, you have more than doubled the cost of this annual subscription. Yeah. For $100 per month, you get a terabyte of storage for 6 users, all the Office apps downloaded to as many computers as you want, all of the Office apps with their full feature set enabled on mobile and on the web. And then you double that price and you get, a couple of AI features and Word. One of the arguments I made in this article I wrote about this was that no one uses all of Office, right? So I'm not going to look and say
you can't even list all of Office. It's not even a thing.
There are 24 new features in Office because of AI. Well, guess what? I only use Word. Well, how many features are there in Word? 4. And how many am I going to use? One of them might be interesting. Is that worth $20 a month? I mean, that's a lot of money. And that's the pragmatic, real world human being way
but
of
only
thinking,
in the context of what you were already paying.
Isn't it priced?
ChatGPT is $20. This is $20.
Isn't also priced somewhat because it's so expensive for them to run? They have to.
Well, you know what?
Isn't the price related?
I don't think
to
they're
the
at break
cost?
even yet.
That sounds like a Microsoft problem, not a customer problem. So, look at it this way. Back in the day, we used to have standalone Office products that would come out every 3 years, right? Office 2013, Office, whatever, all the different versions. Microsoft was like, it would be better than this because these people are only paying us like once or twice a lifetime is if we could get them on a subscription, right? So we'll make it we'll make it useful and we'll make it inexpensive. Well, how do we get them to pay for that? Well, we'll only put the new features in the subscription, right? So if you don't buy a new version of Office every 3 or 6 years, you're not getting any new features. The new features are all coming through the Microsoft 365 subscription. And my God, did they go to town on that? Yeah, we talked about this, how hard it was to keep up.
Part of that was it was easier to develop in the cloud. You can slip small features in, and you can.
I'm talking about
and you can benchmark it.
But I mean, I'm talking about all the clients. I mean, every month, the Office desktop clients on Mac and Windows, on mobile, in the web there was some matrix of new features all the time.
All the time.
So that kind of, it hits some point. There's a weird thing, like the standalone Office user base was over 1 billion, probably 1.5, 1.6 billion at one point. The Microsoft 365 subscriber base is somewhere in the 3, maybe 400 million point, but more lucrative because it's money every month. So what's the next step beyond that? Stop giving them new features, claim that these new features are AI, and make that a new tier, right? But the thing is, it's so much more expensive than the thing you're already paying for, whether it's on the consumer.
So you don't want them to compare
side.
them that way. Like you're comparing except when you're comparing it to ChatGPT.
Well, no, I was gonna compare it to the past. If you compare the features they've added, and by the way, it's not like they're going to come up with that many new AI features every month now. But if you could pick any given month, you could go back in time to 2017, 2018, whatever you pick a year, don't care. Pick a month, don't care. Look at the 117 new features they put into Office and compare it to the 7 they just added, and then compare the value of the relative features. And I'm telling you, it was better back then. And now, not only am I going to have to pay more to get that handful of new feature stuff, it's not going to keep coming. Now we just get to pay to have this functional level. It's like they've added not just a new tier, but a really expensive new tier.
You know, the development is much easier in small increments, constantly deploying, testing, and adjusting. Yeah. But the downside is you don't get a big bang version number anymore.
Right.
And so it's hard to market that.
It is
now with more incremental feature improvements, right? Like
right,
it's just,
exactly.
You want to have a party for a big version, and you can't give them the features over 18 months and then go, and now we'll call that a version, right? Like it's very problematic. It's a better way to build software, but allows your way to sell it.
Yeah, Windows suffers from the same problem.
It's the old waterfall versus Agile.
Yeah. It's a problem, right?
Yeah, and Windows doesn't really, because they're not selling new versions of Windows constantly. It comes with the machine, and it was licensed through the vendor.
So if you
I like incremental improvements. I want my AI to get smarter every day.
Yeah,
maybe not every day, but yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Later in the show,
help me decide though if I should give Microsoft my $20 or OpenAI my $20,
which is actually the question you should be talking about. Right?
Or should you give them $30 and do the commercial version? And how do those things kind of line up? What's the relative value?
Yeah.
So as an individual,
I think if I used Office a lot, then I would probably want the
so it would depend. Let's say you're an accountant, right? So you're in Outlook, you're in Teams, you're in Excel.
Right.
Those are your apps.
You can do spreadsheets.
So you could go up to Copilot Pro and go look down the feature list and see, like, well, okay, what do I get?
If Word didn't respect me, I'm not sure I'd want it.
Right.
And since Word does not respect you.
It doesn't. Hey, AI, could I get? What do I have
AI
to do to get
definitely doesn't respect anybody.
This is a lot of anthropomorphization for me. Thanks. Software has no ability to respect.
It respects nobody.
Yeah, guns don't kill people, Richard. You know that. Bullets don't kill people.
Software developers do.
That's right.
Yeah,
bastards.
So which should I buy? Is there an API key, for instance, with Bing Chat? Do you get an API key?
So one of the things that's coming, like we said, was this Chat GPT builder. You might want to hold off and see what that looks like.
Yeah, because I like the fact that I can build a custom GPT. I also like that I can provide an API key to third parties,
right?
And add my Chat GPT to that, and that is a very important feature. So this is the business version, but
the Microsoft ecosystem. No, I'm sorry. The Copilot ecosystem is such that a lot of the stuff that happens on the OpenAI side should transfer 100%. Right?
It's the same thing they're talking about.
They're the same plugin model, right?
They have Chat GPT 4.
That helps with portability. If you're worried short term, like at least that should be pretty straightforward. Ideally, what we need is the AI version of Cloud Native, where you could easily bring your models over to a different, like to Google or Amazon or whatever happens to be out there. So we'll see. Obviously, in these early stages, it's astonishing there's any partnership, right? I mean, in a way, but I don't know. I can't answer that question. I've not used the OpenAI stuff, so
I'm going to keep my OpenAI.
I did start paying for Copilot Pro.
Yeah.
So I could explain, see how this works for now.
Cool.
And
I'm in the OpenAI camp too. I was saying before the show, it's like I'm looking at my billing on my API, working through Home Assistant. It's going to come up to about $1.50 a month.
Yeah, nice.
And it's a day-to-day utilization.
Which is, by the way, that itself is very interesting. When Microsoft launched what was then called Windows Azure a million years ago, one of the big open questions was like, we're not really sure what the billing's going to look like here, right? So we're in the early days, they were like, we're going to send you 3 months of fake bills based on your usage. You're going to see what we think we would charge you, and tell us what you think. But in this case, we're just as early in the game, and in that case, it's making sense for you, right? Financially, which wasn't always the case.
But I'm also the kind of guy who goes and looks at logs to figure out, like, I'm not going to be surprised at the end of the month. I'm, I know better.
Yeah. Right.
Like I would have had a very different reaction. It was like, oh, there's $100.
Yeah. We so when we moved into this condo, there's a gas like fireplace. We never had one of these things. We always thought this was lazy. We like wood and
Oh no, it's the best.
Oh no, it's the best. In fact, my cats are addicted to it now. It's
the cats.
They creep ever closer to the burning hot slate bottom of the thing.
The hotter the better.
Yeah. They're like little pizzas. They turn over to keep themselves from dying, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's amazing.
Evening out their leopard spotting, yes.
But the question was, it's cold now, right? And we run this thing every day. We run it in the morning. We run it at night. The cats
it's really
love
expensive. Get ready.
We're like, what's this going to look like?
So we got the first bill. So much.
No, the first bill was $100. We're like, okay. No, we can do that. It's going to be okay. But yeah, if that bill had been $400, oh, sorry, cats, you're freezing your asses. Yeah. Like we're done.
You can die now. Yep. Make your own heat.
Yeah, it's kind of I always think of it as it's a cosmetic heater. It's not. It's a luxury heater.
It's very warm in front of it, right in front of it. It's very warm. Like we don't have there's no temperature. Some of modern ones, I think
we have a heat pump, so it's much more efficient to use the heat pump, I think, than it is to.
We got baseboards in here, but we've been using wood. So we cut a bunch of trees on the property that needed to be cut.
Chop those trees down.
So hold on.
Burn them.
It was that or they fell down.
Plenty of trees, Leo. I don't know. It's not like a bunch of them burned down this year.
Yeah. Just take that tree and put it in the atmosphere as carbon
and let it protect the whole planet. There you go.
Yeah.
See,
and the whole planet warms up. The cats are going to be so happy.
What's 2 degrees Celsius between friends? Yeah. Actually, our stove or whatever it's called, fireplace works if the power goes out. So we may need it.
Right.
We might be.
No, it's nice to have a gas backup. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. So,
yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah.
So all this Copilot stuff just happened. I have my concerns about maybe they're going too fast. We'll see. I'm kind of interested to see. My God, it was like January 14th or 15th.
It's going so fast, but is it too fast? Is a different question.
If Christmas, the holidays hadn't occurred, they would have released this thing on December 2nd. Like they've been raring to go on this.
They're going fast. Hey, it's me, Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet from Windows Weekly. If you want to see more and want to catch the whole show, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast client or visit our website, twit.tv/WW. And of course, there's links right below me.